And we are live. I think so. Yeah. Okay. Hello, beautiful people. We are here. We are live with UBE's Legendary Review. For those of y'all that don't know, UBE exists to enable young, Black, same gender loving men to fulfill their greatest potential for good. We bring the community together and raise awareness around HIV and testing and treatment and PrEP and all of those beautiful things. So I am Devin. I am a coordinator here at United Black Element, and this down here, let him introduce himself. Yeah,
I am Lava. I was just trying to pull up something. I am Lava. I'm one of the coordinators here as well. So good to see everybody.
I'm Jay. I'm a core group member. So that's it.
And we have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Tori Balmain of the main attraction. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How's everyone doing?
We good. We good. So today's episode, it was what was it called? What was the ball called?
It was Intergalactic.
That. It was that 2 categories. First was Vogue film. That was cute. So they had to be robots and whatnot. Second category was family productions. They love family productions. That's like every week now. So that's fun. I get it, but you know. So yes. So today's episode. Let's get into it.
I love it.
Let's get into it. What's so funny? What's so funny? First category was cute. I enjoyed everybody that went out there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jamari came out on top. I was like, okay, for the house. Yeah, but other than that, I was a little underwhelmed with this episode, y'all. I was
what about it, man?
Waiting the whole time for something to like wow me, and nothing did.
So, the girl from Landvan coming out with the heels.
Their looks were everybody's looks. Well, not everybody's, but the looks were cute for the most part.
I personally didn't like the theme or the take on the theme because I feel like it was just really early 2000s, not like 2020 the Jetsons type of like intergalactic. And I just think I came into it like thinking like, okay, it's gonna be looking like futuristic, and it gave me more something else.
Balmain, y'all had did the one where y'all's daddy was ordering y'all around and y'all kept making mistakes or something like that, and he was telling y'all to get in line, and that was that.
So, yeah, that was.
I thought that was so cute.
Okay, so that actually
they gave you business.
Okay, so the funny thing is, a lot. I've been hearing a lot of people say that they actually liked it, but for me, knowing what it was supposed to have been, it's like my least favorite that we brought to the table. I felt like it could have been executed way much better than what it was, what it did. But we were going for we knew kind of figured like everybody was going the alien route, so we didn't want to go that same direction everybody else was going. So we tried to like make it that like how Jay was saying, that more kind of like futuristic things. So the dress was more of the thing for us. Like it wasn't. We were trying to stay away from more of like being aliens in a way, because we knew that kind of like everybody was going to go for that, but it kind of. It didn't do justice.
You didn't read. I feel like y'all's outfits is what kind of distracted from the performance. Because it was just a lot. It was just a lot going on. I mean, I knew that the outfits were a part of the performance. Like I got that. It was a lot going on.
So like the outfits, like so we got the inspiration from, if you go to YouTube, you can type in Nina West. She did this thing where she had this, like the people was like
the dress.
And then
I remember that.
Yeah, so that's basically what we got our inspiration from. So, but the problem was that when it came down to the production of the effects, they couldn't the effects couldn't be made the way we wanted them to be. Like that whole front thing, that was like our least favorite part of the whole effect. Like they literally sold that onto us right before we got on stage, like that whole front piece, and that wasn't even what that was supposed to have been. So we were frustrated for the most part through that performance. So it kind of showed.
Y'all's performance reminded me of, even though y'all didn't look like it, because it had that kind of like comedy kind of feel to it. Because that's what y'all were going for. Y'all wanted to be funny because everyone kept saying y'all were so serious. I thought of what's that movie with the Martians and they had the glass helmet and they came and invaded and they had their heads were like brains.
Oh, Mars Attack, I think it is.
Yes, that's what I thought of with y'all.
I didn't get that.
Because like even though y'all's like they were saying it was distracting and stuff like that, that's what according to the judges. To me, in my opinion, between y'all and Landon, y'all were the only ones that actually had like a leader. Like y'all had a leader alien.
That's not true.
That's what it looked like.
Because Escada did too, and so did Gucci. So I'm like, they all did. They all had leaders.
Yeah.
It's kind of different.
Well, y'all, I thought you, because I liked y'all. I thought y'all.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it was cute. It was cute.
And Gucci, she was off the first part. When they did that first walk, she was off.
On who?
Gucci, the first performance.
You talking about Delicious?
No, not Delicious. The one in the white.
Oh, that was it Deshaun? Was that his name?
Oh yeah, Deshaun Gucci. Get up, Deshaun Gucci.
He was off because he was so far behind them. I thought they was going to be staggered, but it wasn't staggered.
For me,
but
like,
then they popped back into it.
Everybody's performance, like to me, like a lot of performance was lacking the bizarre. Like the category was bizarre. It wasn't futuristic theme. It wasn't alien theme. It was bizarre.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry.
And so for me, like I think, like when it came to bizarre, like even though it wasn't executed the best that we could do, I feel like us, and I kind of felt like the Lambins was the closest when it came to bizarre. I feel like also the Scottas was too. Their whole flower concept was kind of bizarre. I felt like it could have been took into a whole nother level as well, because when you think of bizarre and ballroom, you think of like, you know, people coming out as a Barbie doll with Barbie doll legs all in their neck, and you know, like you really think of people going there with bizarre. So I just feel like it just was lacking the bizarre. It was more just a theme for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Naomi was trying to advocate for y'all, because I got what she was saying. Like y'all's was the most like just out there, and like I guess for the word bizarre, like that's what I had got. Like one was the movie, like the one that did The Fifth Element. Like I thought that was really beautiful, like the production of it, but it wasn't like I could pinpoint it. Y'all's I couldn't pinpoint, so that to me that's what it made it to me one of the most unique. I liked Escadas with the flowers, and when they bloomed, I thought it was really, really cool. But then when they started moving around, I got sparkly Teletubbies. Like they was like
it was giving me like underwater themes.
Well, that's what I think that's what Naomi said. Like all she saw was like shaking glitter and sequins. And I think that's what, like, you know, like I love the beginning of that production. The way it started off, to me, I really loved it. I did.
Oh man, I was really happy about the elimination this week.
I wouldn't say I was happy. I wouldn't say I was happy. But
I felt like Ninja should have been at the bottom like a while ago. So
they've been carrying though. Like I mean, they've been holding their own. This week though, they were boring. And Cheesesteak wasn't there to save them, honey. Cheesesteak was not there to save them.
Yeah, so. It was the intro was for the Ninjas was way too long. They stayed too long. It was like they stayed underneath that whatever thing she had behind her, that train that she had. They stayed underneath that way too long, and like our performances were only like a minute and like 20 seconds each. So the fact that they stayed underneath that train for like 30 seconds. Yeah, like it was just way too long. And then when they got into, then when they started, they like, they did the ninja thing. Like once they started, but then it was just like as soon as they started, they had to stop because it just took so long to get there.
Right.
That was crazy.
Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit because I forgot to let you introduce yourself, Tori. So I want you to go ahead and tell us who you are, how you got your start in ballroom, and all of that good old stuff.
Well, my name is Tori Balmain. I'm on the West Coast out here in LA. I actually started ballroom as a Blonic. That was actually my first house. I started as a Blonic out here on the West Coast. I started off walking sex siren next first. I was actually a cat boy. Cat boy sex siren.
Okay.
And then after a while, kind of like started looking at Vogue, and I was like, okay, that's very interesting. Let me try that out. And so I tried to like want to learn how to Vogue, and like Jamari was like, no, you just say walking cat boy, Voguing ain't for you. I saw you try to Vogue, now I'm gonna just let you stay doing cat boy. And so I was like determined to like to walk Vogue film, and they were trying to make me be a twister, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pass realness because I'm just I'm just not gonna get past the realness. So I'm just gonna go Vogue film. And so I just decided to end up walking Vogue film, and one day I decided to walk. I got chopped the first day I walked as a virgin. The Legendary actually posted it on their thing. They actually told the story already, but it was like the judge told me I was a waste of ballroom time, and as a virgin. And so like that kind of like defeated me a little bit. I was like, okay, I don't even want
Not
to
a
do ballroom.
waste of ballroom time.
I was like,
I
oh, I
just
don't want to
like,
do
well, girl,
ballroom
I'm
no
gonna
more.
show you.
I'm done. And so like I was kind of like over it. And then Jamari was like, what you mad about? And I'm like, because she told me. He was like, so what? Who cares? Like he was like, that should fuel you to like want to see her again at the next ball. And so he was just like, use that anger that you got to bring it to the floor the next time. So the next ball that came up, I walked, saw her again, and I was like, I don't care if no judge give me 10s on this panel, you gonna give me 10s. And so I basically kind of attacked her on the panel in a way, but the judges lived for it, so I got 10s that night. And so that's basically started my bogey career in ballroom.
Okay. So how long have you been a Balmain?
I've been a Balmain for like 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
2 3 years.
Okay. And you from LA? Or you just
born and raised in LA. Born and raised.
Interesting.
What part?
South Central.
Okay. Well, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this episode because
Is the Paris? I love the Paris.
Where's she at?
She right there.
Tell her to join us. I'm gonna text you.
The Paris, come on up.
Come on in. Come on in the room.
Speaking of which, the episode, can y'all hear me? Speaking of which, as a Paris, last week's episode was what really like burned me up. That should have been the episode where both houses should have stayed.
That's
and
why
Balmain, y'all should have won last week with the ancient civilization.
I agree.
Y'all should have won that one.
Thank you.
That was that was y'all best performance.
Thank you.
So with the way they ate y'all up today, if Jamari wouldn't have won that category, I feel like y'all would have been in the bottom.
No, honestly, like, and that's the difference between like the House of Balmain. Like we are like very honest about it, like about our stuff. Like we're not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it and try to make us look better than what it was. How some people are gonna do. Like if we feel like it didn't work out, it didn't work. Like I'm here to say, like if it wasn't for Jamari winning Vogue Phil, Balmain's would have been in the bottom. Like I feel like that's what it was. But Jamari won. Hey, he saved us again, and it is what it is.
So, how many people are in your family or your house?
Out here on the West Coast?
Yeah.
We probably got like 20 people in our chapter out here.
Wait, so how many people do they have? Like, you can only have 5 people at the ball, or like, y'all like did auditions amongst each other to be able to get the spot?
Well, not necessarily. Well, this process started for this whole production for this ball started like 2-3 years ago for this whole Legendary show. It started about 2-3 years ago, and it actually started off majority as only a West Coast cast. It actually was West Coast casted only, and then it eventually like when in the process of switching between networks and stuff like that, that's when it kind of like branched out, and they kind of like branched out to different regions and stuff like that, and started pulling people in. I didn't really audition. I was actually contacted by Scott Productions. They contacted me through Instagram and stuff like that and hit me up.
So they just pick people out of the families to come and perform.
Basically, well, they kind of like pick some, but then also in a way they still audition. Like they still ask people like for more members of the house to like audition, and they like people did Skype interviews and stuff like that. And then like they really, after they did all of that, they really solidified the cast. But it was the process. It wasn't just like people had it made. Like, oh, even though you was a part of it 3 years ago, you had it made, because it's only probably like 8 people on the show out of like 40 that was a part of the original cast from 2-3 years ago. So.
Yeah, and that's why I was thinking, like, you have houses that are like 20, 30 people, but you only have 5 people out on the stage performing. So they had to do like some kind of process.
Well, there's like hundreds of people in these houses.
Well, yeah,
like,
no, we have over 100 people in our house.
Yeah, I'm like,
we have over 100 people in our house. Like 100.
I mean, but if you think about it, like a regular block, there's like a million categories, and it goes on forever.
Yeah.
So,
it depends.
We're only doing 2 categories, and then
HBO only had a budget for 5 people each. That's it. That's it. Okay, that's too many people. We gotta feed. We gotta clothe. We got all of it.
I mean, honestly, they like for me, like we was like for the people that was there, like we was set. The hotel was nice. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their own room. It's not like you had to bunk up and sleep with nobody. Your room had a kitchen. It was a full like suite setup kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? And like I feel like people was taken care of while you was there till you got sent home.
And look who we got. We got
Hey, Zafir.
What's good?
Zafir, I love you.
Paris.
Hi.
The care. So how did you feel about tonight's episode of Paris?
Huh? Oh, episode 6.
You didn't watch it?
I watched it. I thought it was cute. It was
I thought it was too.
For me, it was like okay, so the first controversy on the show, or that people at Ballroom had with the show, is the fact that they based it, and they said the show is based around voguing. So the fact that in the last episode, when you had Michaela and Shorty, battle in their last battle, and then they now in episode 6 they had an actual category for Vogue film. To me, it didn't match that. Like in Ballroom, you would have got like that category would have been real hype, real like kind of like the same anticipation like you got like when Jamari and Wilma battle, or like Shorty and Michaela battle. So for me, it was kind of like lackluster in a way, but it was cute. Like the effects were definitely, everybody's effects was again stepping up. The looks was spot on. Like the looks was always out of this world to me. And then I don't know, just the fact of like just certain things that have been going on through the whole season. It kind of like just it's killing the momentum. But when I saw the preview for the next episode, I'm kind of excited to see what episode 7 is about.
I got really excited when I saw that.
I'm like, next episode.
Yeah, I want to.
That was fun.
Cause I'm still hurt about y'all going home though. I'm still hurt a little bit because I don't feel like y'all deserved it.
You weren't here. You weren't here last week. I was going hard
at that moment. Y'all didn't deserve it at that moment.
Yeah. It was. I don't know. Like I want to ask them too. Like, well, what? Because if we was going off of a point system, then technically it would have been the ninjas. You know what I mean? Because the ninjas got chopped, we got chopped, but then a lot of events ended up in the bottom too. So that means that and then if y'all was judging the house performances too the right way, then in my fair opinion, a lot of other houses should have marked like or got docked just like how Lavigne got. Like the Gorgeous Gucci's nowhere in hell should have been Superior House. Like it wasn't. I didn't see that at all. Like it was, to me, that's when they got Superior House that day on the compound, I knew we was going home. Like I said, if we go on the bottom, we going home. I knew it. Like that's how it was. So
we're talking about the legendary episode 6. No, like episode 6.
Yeah, last week was some.
Last week was better. And I think because last week was so so much energy that I feel like this week just did not give me what I was looking for.
Yes, that's how I thought I was tripping too. And I didn't want to, people say like I'm just so mean, and they take like my honest opinion so I feel like so wrong. But like even looking at the show, like watching it, I was just sitting there like, okay, well.
I mean, also was like Taylor Bennett. He was like, "Oh, I like that one." Like he didn't give anything. He was just
that's
like,
my baby daddy, so he can say whatever he want to say.
Who?
Well, Law? Were you talking about Law?
No. Oh no.
I was talking about Taylor Bennett.
Oh yeah.
And he wasn't even in theme, so I just felt like everybody came in.
What I want to ask, Tori, what was the challenge? What was your challenge for the house, our house, besides a bizarre look? Like I forgot what the challenge was.
It really wasn't a challenge. It was just like you was it was a bizarre challenge, and you was supposed to present your leader. Like say like you are coming to a new planet. And your leader,
No. I remember all of that. I'm talking about, but like we didn't. It was no criteria. You know how like in other challenges, like they said that we had to do full performance or like runway or like.
No, it was just that it needs to be bizarre. It just.
Well, then I'm really at this point I'm upset. Like, girl, y'all productions was cool. All them productions was boring as fuck. Like, what?
No, that's what I just said. I was like, it was more of a theme. A lot of houses had more themes than it was when it came down.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. But I was only thinking that because I'm thinking like in other categories, like they made sure that they highlighted whatever the challenge was inside of our house production. So because there was no specific, I don't see why it wasn't more like, I don't know, like I'm upset now, like because I was legit looking at the episode, like all the fashion was dope as hell, but it's like for the first time, all the production was like so like lackluster. I'm like, where?
Yeah, it was bizarre with It was supposed to be bizarre with fashion, even though like that is going to be like that's never really necessarily going to really work in a way. You really think about ballroom bizarre. So it was been ballroom bizarre with fashion. It was basically like your leader supposed to have been high end, and then the other people were supposed to be fashionable, but just. Oh, we went to off Saks.
What was there's the Scouts was a flower, the Gorgeous Gucci's was whatever movie that was. The Livians did the Aliens. What did y'all do?
We did a replica to like Nina West.
Who?
You ever do Nina West? You ever like Google Nina West performance when she basically had her dress was the people and the dress turned the live.
Y'all did. No shade. I felt like y'all see they keep that was the production. Out of all the productions, that I liked that one. Like the fact they said they couldn't follow y'all production and like he could understand. I was like, well, I don't see how if you maybe and you know what else? On the stage, the sound like how we can hear it clearly now when you watch the show, it didn't give that. So maybe because the judges couldn't hear the ad-libs what was going on, because when you hear it and you sit on TV, I was like, bitch, go ahead, Balmain, no shade. Like y'all whole production had like a whole theme, like out of everybody's, even though I just read and said the child, but out of anybody's that I feel like should have deserved like applause or praise, it should have been y'all. Like no shade, bitch, y'all shit was sickening.
Yeah, they keep shading y'all for real. Like I feel like do not give y'all what y'all they not giving this to y'all.
I had lived for that. Like out of everybody's, I feel like
Who man I slept with? One of y'all did it. It was Jamari, wasn't it?
What?
Because I feel like they be at Law, especially. He just be at y'all.
Like I honestly I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it is. It's like every week, like y'all miss a lot of the critiques. Like every week for us, like they'll give us the critiques, and we'll take those critiques and we'll apply them to the week after that, and then it'd be like, oh well, we don't want y'all to do that no more. We want y'all to go back to this, and it was like, what?
Right.
And that's what it was for this performance. Like they told us they wanted us to go happy and quirky and be funny and cute because all our productions was dark, and then when we did it, they was like, oh, we like when y'all do the dark stuff. And so it was like, well, what we supposed to do?
No shade. It was like that. It was like that.
It seems like they started clicking up. It felt like Megan and Law are like clicking, and then the other two people,
I don't know. I ain't really feature Megan in a lot of these last couple episodes because they've been on some other shit. Like,
I mean, but they've been on the same, like they've been voting the same way and everything.
yeah, but that's how it happened. And mind you, what's killing me about like some of the comments that's being made is that people really don't like Law. And for me, if you are a ballroom and you really get into ballroom, it's a lot of laws in ballroom. Like no shade, people who act just like how Law act on the panel. They don't even pay attention to what's going on in their phone. They're doing something out of like. So for me, the commentary about like whether or not a judge is qualified to judge when in our own community we get treated the exact same way. So I don't see no difference.
They said you do that too.
I do.
I know I was at the last function.
No, I'm a fair judge. See,
Sometimes.
all the time.
It's cute. It's cute though.
How would you? What would be your advice to like somebody that's getting new into ballroom and dealing with a judge like that?
Like Law?
Hey,
Pay it.
This the best type of judge. No shade. No shade.
That's gonna be the one that Law is like that judge I was telling you about my story that told me when I first walked Vogue Fam, like my first time walking even Virgin I was a waste of ballroom time. Law is that type of judge, like that will sit up on the panel and say something like that, and you'll be like, okay, that hurt my feelings. Until your parent be like, what are you mad about? Get like, you finna see him at the next ball. You finna wake it up. You finna get your tens. Like, don't be sad about that. Like, just pay it. Like, all I can do is say pay it, and fuel yourself with it.
Right, and like the biggest thing.
Remind me of Candy.
What'd you say?
From Pose. Those kind of moments remind me of Candy from Pose.
Nah, okay, so it's different. It's different ways that you can see that. Like Candy, very much so. She knew she was in the wrong. She knew she was wrong. If and in ballroom, you need those judges that are going to do right and actually judge accordingly. So like when you get in chopped, like most times you're supposed to get chopped for legitimate reasons, like you didn't bring the category right, or you just you may not be voguing up to party night, like. But outside of that, we also know that that what comes along with ballroom is shade. Like you might just get chopped because you just left a house. So it varies, but in that type in her situation, like she needs to be chopped. Like she needs to be red. She needs to be chopped, and you gonna keep getting chopped till you wake up and realize, I need to do something different.
Hey, she was doing different stuff. She was getting different implants and all that stuff.
Well,
love me some Miss Cheesy.
Y'all feel like the ninjas deserve to go home?
Yep.
Why you roll your eyes? I mean, tonight, yeah. Tonight, yes.
It was a fair elimination. I felt like they should have. If they would have sent Cheese, Scholars would have been out of there. No shade.
That's what I said.
That was my whole problem. Wait, so like, I felt like I kind of really felt like when I was sitting on the sideline, I was watching. It's like I don't never watch it on the side. Like I run to the front of the stage because I have to like watch. Like this is like I have to watch this like front and center. So I ran to the front of the stage, and when she said Sharon, I was like, no. I said no.
Right. I said the same thing. I was like, she don't never stand down.
I was expecting either her or Chise. I expected Dolores because Dolores could have did it too. Like I kind of felt like Dolores could have did it too. It had to be Dolores or Chise. And then when they didn't call Chise and they said Sharon, I was like,
well, I think it's because she picked Chise the last time. So could y'all not pick the same people twice?
No, that don't matter. You could pick the same person the whole time. There was never a rule.
I would have sent them both. The battle was weak. I didn't get my. I would have sent them both. Like it didn't. That battle to me, out of all the battles that have like to save a house, I just didn't.
It didn't resonate with you, did it? I know.
It did.
I said the same.
For me, Cheyenne was eating. I think she was just tired because she battled so many times just recent. Like she just vogued so much all day. Like she literally just battled 3 times in the Vogue Femme category, and then she turned around.
Girl, she was on the floor.
House production.
She was on the floor. And they house production, all they did was turn around at some flower buds and open up. Like, come on, they didn't really. They didn't do much.
It's true though.
Like, no, this is no shade because I think Cheyenne is. I think that is an amazing house. But
I love Cheyenne.
I
Me
was.
too. I felt like this was Cheyenne. This was Cheyenne. This episode was about Cheyenne. No
It
Cheyenne.
was. It was.
Shout out to Cheyenne.
Like last episode was about Shorty. I felt like the whole time.
Excuse
I
me. What
when I
about
see
me? I was in there too.
I mean, you was
Hello.
there. You was there.
You got it.
when I see Cheyenne, I be expecting like a Mortal Kombat character.
It's
Like
not. It's not gonna give that though. You have to. You got to get in because Cheyenne's really soft and kind. Like
She's
she paid tribute to the soft. No shade. She definitely for that. And mind you, I really felt like they shaded her because I felt like she beat Jamari. I would have voted for Cheyenne for the Vogue Femme category. No shade.
I kind of would have too.
the reason why the reason like what they didn't show the reason why another reason why Cheyenne lost was that people are like which I also was watching the Vogue category, which I also have a problem with. A lot of people didn't really robot like really did like when they tell you to bring it as a robot, like I like you supposed to like bring it as a robot, and some people like did a robotic move and just went into voguing instead of like voguing, like you know what I'm saying, like as a robot.
A lot of them walked in
so,
as robots and then did their thing instead of incorporating it.
And right before Cheyenne and Jamari's battle, they specifically said, like, I want to see what the category is asking for. It's asking for robotic vogue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Robot vogue. And she was just voguing.
That was a cute move when he went.
Well, that makes sense. But see, on shows like this, now when y'all want to do things fairly, whereas in other categories, like the gown category, they said they wanted to see elegance. They want to see a gown. You know what I mean? And guess what? They still voted otherwise. You know what I mean?
I'm
but
sorry, Twilight should have on that coin. I'm sorry. I did not like the dress. I did not like the sock and the hat. I really did not like it.
Sock and the hat.
Like,
but hey, it's television.
It had no spin element to it at
that
all.
Part.
It just lacked everything. Like she came out and spent and dropped the hat and then walked the whole time. And that was his. Like everybody else was spinning something. The Paris came out spinning that baton the whole time. Exactly. Like Calypso came out and spent the whole time and changed her dress like 3 times in her spin. Like even Sappho came out with the wheels, even though she got chopped, she was spinning them wheels. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just missing a spin element.
It was. I just so justice for me still, no shade.
Justice yes, I would advocate. Yes, that episode. There was a lot of episodes. I feel like people got robbed.
You know,
there's been a lot of heist going on.
That's the truest part of this being a ball is people getting robbed.
That is factual. Like no shade. It's a lot of at balls. That's the
ballroom too, though.
That is in ballroom.
Where a girl won $2,000-$3,000 and they felt like the other person should have won it.
No shade. No shade. No shade.
It happened.
But see, that's why I can't wait. I cannot wait for. We got 2 more weeks because next week episode 7 comes out. Then the week after that is 8 and 9, which is the final episodes come out.
Oh, they come.
So I'm excited for it all to be over so I can really let these girls know how I feel because right now I'm being cute. I'm playing cute, you know, because I don't want nobody to trigger me to do nothing I ain't got no business doing. But like. As far as like watching the show, like it's still so exciting to see. Like I said, for me, watch episode 6. It was. I feel like because I'm still not. I haven't fully transitioned from like now being eliminated off the show, and like even just seeing when you visually see it and you start to see other elements, like you know now we get to see people's storylines stuff like that, and you start to think back and be like, well, damn, like that wasn't really fair. You know what I mean? It's like with us going home when we went home, I had accepted it then. Because it's like I knew what our house was doing internally, you know, and I'm like, you know, maybe this played a part. But then when you rewatch the episode and you see other storylines going in, and you see, you know, how they edit it, it's like, damn, y'all want America to feel the same way, like y'all basically fucked us, because it's like, how did we end up in the bottom at all, you know? And it's just like
y'all had got all good critique on the night y'all went home,
huh?
Y'all had got all good critique on the night that y'all had went home, so I was like, good. What was your favorite, Tori? What was your favorite look that y'all did throughout the whole? What was your favorite episode?
My favorite episode is between the circus and the Remember the Times.
Ooh, see, I feel like y'all should have won the circus. I like y'all circus the most.
No shade, nah. I'm sorry. They would have been a close second for me. The House of Live Ends to me had the best. And again, the Balmains always gave y'all production. No shade. When it came down to the look, when it came down to the execution, they were very Broadway about the situation. But when it came down to like execution, you know what I mean? The live ins always made it like more like like a little bit hyper. Like if you could have put the huh?
I have a question for you. Finish what you were saying, but I have a question for you.
Like if you could put the Balmain Productions look with the live ins energy, bitch, you'll have a like an unstoppable team.
Okay. So back on the last episode, when the Labins were doing that African dance and she was so nervous about dancing. But the week before in the circus episode, she was dancing just fine. She had no complaints.
Who, Erica?
The mother.
Yeah.
Right. See, my whole issue with the House of Lion Van is this. Like,
that's my favorite house, not too much.
Granted, they are, when it comes down to what I talked about earlier was the formula. Like, the thing that set Ebony apart from everybody else is that, for one, our house is the most out of, I think, besides the ninjas, because the ninjas also had like different people from different chapters. We was the only other house that had every like members from different chapters. Not only did we have members from different chapters, we also had all of us are key players in our house, if that makes sense. Like, I'm a princess in my region, Isla's the godmother in her region, Mashanta's the godfather in his region, Shorty is like a prince in his region, Shy's like, so we are all of some type of status in our house. So when you got us together, it's like, no, you're not gonna get the dynamics that you see for the houses, like how they compliment Eric about being the mother, and because those people look up to them because of they statue of where they come from. But with us, the dynamic wasn't that. So what irritates me about the House Live In is that y'all overly live for them, but y'all don't criticize them how they should be, because they don't move as a team. The whole team isn't strong. No shade. What y'all banking off of is Erica. If you really want to be technical, everything is scene and facade around Erica. Erica is the mother. Erica is this. Erica. So she kind of takes the distraction off of other elements of like.
You'll see everything.
Huh?
So if she's off, you'll see everything.
Right. And then if you also notice in their productions, she never does the meat of it. She always is just the accent. She's like a sprinkle, or and it's like, to me, well, why won't y'all call them out on that? Because everybody else is getting judged as a team. Y'all call us out on all our different mistakes, but every time the House of Live In comes up, it's, oh, Erica, you da, but you so pretty. Erica, da.
That was actually one of the critiques that they got. They told her to just stand in the middle and just sell face
and be pretty, right?
That would have been Tito for that performance.
It would have worked for that performance.
But no shade, but like the parents is saying, that's also unfair when you have
people
who don't do those things in other houses that's get up there doing them. I mean, if you don't look good doing it, you just don't look good. You just don't look good doing it. So those points are gonna get docked. But to give another house a separate category to say, well, we're not gonna judge you as a team. We're just gonna let your mother do what she want to do, and then we're gonna judge y'all separate. Then that's kind of like, well, shoot, then you should do the same thing for all of that too. Then shoot, you should judge Jamari separate, you should judge Isla separate, and then should judge like that. I understand where the parents is coming from in a way when she says that.
Yeah,
they did kind of like say like, Erica, stand there, like just stand there. That's all we want you to do, just stand there and look pretty. How is that fair when this is a production as a house? When there's a production at the house, everybody has to be doing something together,
right?
Not just standing
there. And if y'all really want to be technical about that battle, with Short and Michaela, is no shade. I mean, y'all been seeing Michaela flip since episode 1. So to me, I'm like, well, what was the razzle dazzle about that? Y'all been seeing it every episode. What was so different about these flips this time? Even in episode 6, she just flipped and what lost that. I just want to point out, she been flipping in heels. Okay, now can we get something new? You know what I mean? Like, to me, I just feel like it's the same thing. Whereas in like other competition shows, anything like that, you see them like, you see the critiques like changing up, switching up. It's not the same repetition over and over and over. It's almost like they just basically pacifying them for whatever reason. But it is.
That is true. Somebody else pointed that out. They were saying how with the battle with Michaela and Shorty, like Shorty was doing new stuff where Michaela was doing stuff that she's always been doing. So, but I will say, somebody that's new, I think this show is also for like new viewers, somebody that's not familiar with Michaela, Like, and seeing a girl come out with, you know, heels this high and not spraining an ankle and doing all these somersaults, that's gonna get they gonna get their life.
but to go with what the Paris is saying, but like when you just like for how the ninjas got docked for doing the Asian thing over and over.
Too many times, right? See,
Exactly. I see what y'all saying. I see what y'all saying.
Double standard.
It's not like, and then by episode 5, they had already seen her do it. So that's the thing. So it's not like they never seen her before. Like, I can understand episode 1, maybe 2, but we on episode 5. She done did it every episode.
Every episode she didn't flip. Every one of them.
I mean, and that's not taking out the fact that her flipping out the egg and doing what she did wasn't over, like, because it was over what she did.
No, it was.
Or even even if we go back to episode 1, the House of West came out first, and Destiny is also that's the better I want to see on the show was Destiny and Michaela. No shade. When the House of West came out, Destiny did the same exact flip that Michaela did, but Michaela the one that got praised for it. You know what I mean? It's just like,
is he the one that wear the pink boots and he does the
super bitch? Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love him.
Yeah. That's the first thing I said when I saw their house too. Was it that's super big?
Mm-hmm. I feel like they went home a little too early.
Yes and no.
You know.
Yes and no.
Sorry.
I feel like they got judged too hard too fast, but I also because Law would not make he chopped them for every category. Every category Law chopped them.
Nah, see, that was ballroom. If y'all gotta get into how ballroom worked. That was no shade. So Destiny got chopped fairly. We're not gonna say that she did not get chopped unfairly. She was chopped fairly. Her wig came off. When it came down to Wilma getting chopped, I think it was more so just her confidence. She didn't have as much confidence she should have had because she looked over. Like she really looked really good.
You know, I didn't feel like she was that was appearance because when you watch the whole tears like without the edit, she came out and she rolled her neck around.
That's all she had. She sold it.
She sold it. I'm sorry.
She sold it. I don't feel like got chopped, and I don't feel like they were
confident on that floor. Like I don't know what it was.
But then when it came out to the runway, because Law's girls, the Saint Laurent and the Balmains got chopped, Law wanted to make a point because when the West came, you see all the other judges gave them 10s. So he wanted to made an example out of the West. No shade. That was very ballroom. Like, yeah, but
like even for us though, the reason like we had a mouse effect wasn't the fact that we were trying to stick with the thing. It was the fact like everybody was thinking of something to do. We was like, well, we don't think nobody's actually going to do mice because that category doesn't actually call for mice. So we was like, you know what? Since we don't think nobody's going to do mice, let's just actually do it. So it wasn't like we were doing what Mitch Lay was saying, like it asked for 3 mice. No, that's not where the Balmain was coming from.
The house of Saint Laurent was so
nobody's going to actually do it. That's the only reason why we dressed up as mice. Because we was going to do something totally different.
Right, and I actually like that y'all look for that one too. Yeah, but mind you, the key is that no shade. That first elimination when you see it on TV, it's like all of y'all was sitting there, but the only person that was crying was Jamari. I'm just sitting there trying to process it. Like maybe y'all didn't believe. Maybe y'all didn't believe that y'all was in the bottom. That y'all was hey, y'all had a hospital
It had nothing to do with that. So, and that's why I'm glad I finally get to talk on this whole situation because I haven't got to talk on this situation on nothing.
Speak on it.
So I'm gonna finally speak on it. So people gotta understand, like, it's just like some of the arguments I've been seeing, like, oh, this crime was staged and this crime was real. Like, first of all, understand one thing: both crime situations was real. Yes, the dynamic and the emotion was 2 different levels of it, but the crime from both people was real. Like, Jamari's crime necessarily wasn't about the battle in that moment. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you got to understand, like, the whole time we were backstage, we were going through challenges backstage. Like, our looks was falling apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, our suit jackets that we had on, like, the embellishing that was on it was falling apart. And Jamari's a perfectionist. So when you are a ballroom and you don't have you can't physically sit there and glue and sew and do your own effects, and you got to, trust in someone else. He was already upset on that. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was already token. So we already knew we were in the bottom. It wasn't like, oh, we was thinking we wasn't going to be in the bottom. We already knew. The thing was, it was like the conversation that we had Balmain actually had a conversation was, do we want to continue to go on? And so when the commentator like so for Jamar to hear us like, no, we want to be here, we want to fight, we want to continue to go, he was kind of like inspired by us because he was already crying when we had that conversation backstage, like when we was deciding who was going to go out, and like. And for Jamar to go out, it had nothing with Jamar being selfish or not wanting to let other people other members couldn't feel like we were mediocre to the West and like we couldn't compare to them or whatever the case may be, because any of us could have stepped out and battled the West without a problem. That's not it. So, but we did that because Jamar wanted to take the lead. The fact that it's like when you go to war with someone, when you go to war and you feel like your decisions is what cost y'all to lose the battle, to almost lose the war, you feel like the leader should be the one to sacrifice himself to try to make sure that that final situation is, is settled. And that's the reason why Jamar selected stuff. It had nothing with him being selfish, had nothing to do with that. So all these narratives that people are trying to paint about Jamar being selfish in that moment, y'all need to paint another one.
I mean, I didn't see it as him being selfish. I mean, out of everybody, he would have been the most person because bitch, the West have a power squad. See, in ballroom, you look at that lineup and you looking at like grand prize Vogue Sam winners, and it's no shade. So like, when you thinking about strategically, well, who can do whatever. Like I feel like even Tory could have probably gave them a run because Tory's like out of their whole group another one that's more seasoned in ballroom. But when it came down to like being in the bottom, that's why I said like
It's hard.
people key when I say this, but I swear to you, by the time we had been there, you had kind of mastered, you had realized, okay, this is not ballroom, this is for TV, and like things that you could kind of see pan out before they pan out, you already knew. So like I said, once they say we was in the bottom, I'm like, well, girl, it'll be like it'll be a cold day in here, and we end up sending Lavine's home. So our strategy was like, okay, they're gonna send out their favorite person, so we're gonna send out our fave, which was Shorty, which was the judge's favorite at this point. And
Right.
so watching the battle when Shorty started, I'm like, okay, you can see me, I'm really hyped in the battle, like, yeah, my hype is there. Once Michaela jumped into the live in, oh, I started crying because I knew we was going home.
You be like,
I knew it was going on. Like I knew, like even though because to me, I still feel the same way I feel. Is to me that's the type of scrutiny you become to like when in ballroom you say it's supposed to be about Vogue, it's supposed to be performance. You know what I mean? But people don't realize that that's the argument that we will push forward. Like when you look at that battle, you can see two different ways of voguing. You have Michaela who's giving you stunt after stunt after stunt after stunt, and Shorty's giving you performance. You know what I mean? He give you different things. He mixing different elements in. Like that's what performance is about. So yeah, even though I'm knowing me, and even if you see like who the ballroom vote went to, which is Naomi, she voted for us. Like you see that versus like television, yeah, they're gonna go up because Michaela is entertaining versus
Right.
knowing what you're supposed to be looking for when you're voting. So that's why like once she jumped to that arm, I was like, bitch, it's over. We going home. I know.
they made you. Speaking of crying, they made you a means of Paris when you was holding.
I'm like,
They made me seem like such the crybaby. That's why I'm over there because I'm like, well, out of all the other scenes, I was way. The first episode, y'all got me being overly aggressive. I'm sitting there with my cocktail. I'm the baddest bitch. Da, 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 da. After
That
that,
was
it's
my
like,
favorite episode when they had you sit down in that chair in the first episode.
yes.
And you was like, and I'm gonna do this. Like I was like, oh my
and it's like out of all the filming that we did, I know Tori feel the same way. Like watching the show, I'm like, damn, what are they gonna do with all of that shit that they did not show? I'm telling you,
it's
it's so
so
many
much
hours
stuff.
of like filming that is not. That's why I say I'm gagging that they got me out there like I'm the crybaby. Like, bitch, I was the hellraiser. They'll tell you. I kept
Mind
all
you,
the hell
they do have so much filming. We were waking up every day at like
every
six, between
day.
6 and 8 every day, not leaving the compound until like 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. at night, depending on the night. Sometimes we not leaving until 1, 2 a.m. because we got to make sure wardrobe and stuff is done. Like we were busy, so like so to see that was
And
where's all
mind
this
you,
footage?
the day that we had got sent home, there was the one and only early bar. There was a Sunday bar. We had to be able to come out like 6 in the morning. The
Mm,
bar ended like 7 or 8. That was the earliest any bar ever ended. So like
yeah.
Imagine, mind you, imagine getting eliminated, right? So not only after that, I don't even remember the aftermath bar that they had that night. I don't remember a lot of stuff because once we got off the stage, it was like you was constantly getting bum rushed by somebody and everybody was crying. I'm like, okay, girl, like Jesus. Like by the time I got back to the hotel room, I was all cried out. Like I was done crying. Everybody was so sad. It was so emotional. I'm like, girl, just give me to the plane, please. Just give me to the plane.
If it were up to me, the final three houses would be Ebony, Balmain, and Lanvin.
Yeah, no shit. I don't see how Gucci is. I never understood how Gucci was still there. I mean, I don't see it. Gucci and Escada.
You know what?
I like the Escadas. To me,
I've been said they should have been at the bottom way before.
Yeah, I don't.
To me, they're like, I don't know. I just think they're the most personable.
No, that was all shade, Jay.
No shade. I was like, them and Ninja, like they should have been at the bottom like 3 episodes ago.
Tori, who you think would have won out of the episode when they saved everybody? Who you think would have really won between the Gucci's and the Escadas? Between they said the Gucci's was gonna send G to that episode, and the Escadas gonna send Cheyenne.
I don't know because Jeter vote.
No,
so.
Jeter was gonna tear it up.
Yeah,
I feel like for TV they would have sent the Gucci's home. Cheyenne, they would have voted for Cheyenne.
I mean, for TV purposes, maybe so.
You know Jamila. You know Jamila was voting for Cheyenne. You already knew that.
I mean, you do. I mean, yeah. I kind of feel like it would have been one of those battles where the two dynamics, like Cheyenne is soft and Jeter is like dramatic. So it would have been like Jeter would have been going off. Like if he would have gave like what he was giving in Hair Whip, when he was like rolling across the floor, and he was doing like the judges would have went up for all of that, and I think he would have got the vote because it was entertaining to everybody and he was waking it up. Like Cheyenne would have been out there killing it too, but I kind of felt like in that moment she would have been too soft. It was, the battling for them in that moment would have been just.
I'm still on that category too, that Hair Whip category. That I was over it. Because I'm like, you and Gina was giving way more than.
That's when the bullshit first started. I knew then.
And that was my favorite. I knew then. Rapunzel one.
Yeah. I was like, what?
That was my favorite look for the Paris. And you had all that hair everywhere.
Oh, the white. Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I'm really excited for next week's episode. I can't wait.
I'm sorry.
I
can't wait for my screener. I'm waiting for my screener to come right now so I can watch
Hello. Mind you, I had heard about it while I was at home. I had heard about the episode. I was like, yeah. Mind you, see, I don't want to come off spiteful or anything like that, but no shade. The House of Live In is so cocky that's why I can't wait for episode 7 because bitch, they get humbled.
Oh.
Really?
Tori was there. No, because if y'all look at the I don't know if y'all look at the extras on HBO Max where they show y'all the what's coming next week episodes. But yeah, just that little stick preview got me so hyped because I'm like, thank you, like girl, they feel like they are untouchable. I swear to y'all, like the live-ins. Well, they are killing it.
But you heard Michaela said, this is our home. They guessed.
They said, and they gagged, because she said that
your makeup is horrible. And I was like,
well, it's no shade. And they going to say, get over here. Yo, I saw that. I
was like, now that's what I'm here for.
That's what I'm here for, too. I'm here for all of that.
I want to watch Mortal Kombat when I see a ball.
Love you. No, like the next episode is gonna be one of my favorite ones. Like
I think, but then y'all have to put on the persona of like villains though, right? So maybe that's what added to maybe the cattiness too.
No, that's not the twist. That we can't talk about it because it's next week. But if you get into it, it's not that, but it's something else that you can put the pieces.
Entertaining. I think
it's gonna be really good.
I think this is going to be the next episode that's more entertaining since 5. I think episode 7 will be the next most entertaining episode.
Because they've been up, and then 6 went like this, but I see episode 7 going like that just because of the way they edited it. I don't like the way that sounds. But just the way that preview was made, it's like, okay, some shit happened. Like,
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, they got some cute little.
They was very stingy on this one. They was very stingy on this one. Like the other ones was more like
You talking about on
like,
6?
no, on 7.
They're not wide on 7 for the previews. They're real close up.
Yeah, they
All
very
I
narrow.
saw
Like,
was somebody cake get snatched, and they went back, and I was like,
And then you see Jamari with the letters.
I'm dead.
I can't wait to talk about that episode. I'm gonna start doing reaction videos at this point because hey, we not on the
Okay, I'm here for it.
I have a question. How had for Tori? How has Legendary changed your life, if at all?
oh wow, it has changed a lot. I think I walked into a restaurant the other day and ran into my first Legendary fans of people who recognize me from the show. So that off once changed. Bookings, like I got stuff coming up. I got 3 events that I'm doing this week out here in LA. Like, cause I'm not trying to travel nowhere because of this Corona stuff, and I'm not gonna get locked down nowhere in any state. You ain't gonna quarantine me for no 14 days nowhere. So right now I'm only doing bookings in California, like where I can drive to, real fast. So, but it's some amazing things that's been happening. I got like 3 bookings this weekend. We get to take it like I'm taking over. We taking over North Hollywood Park. I'm throwing a whole ball situation that they asked me to do for their first No Hold Pride. So it's going to be really, really fun. Me and Calypso. So it's going to be really, really fun. Like, it's been changing, but like it's LA. Like, so LA, like I'm already in the club scene. So people know me in a way in the club scene out here. So me doing this now is kind of just elevated in a way because like right now my Instagram is going crazy.
I know. Speaking of which, I'm about to follow you.
Girl, she knows she is not nobody's celebrity, girl.
The parents don't be mad.
Girl, I'm not mad. Let me tell you something. It's awkward. Like being down here in the club, I be at the club. It'd be the most randomest people I would never think would like, watch this show. They'd be like, the Paris, girl, I saw you. I'm like, saw me? Where did you see me? Like, bitch, I'm legendary. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Like I actually went to my billboard for the first time today, and it was like really like surprising to see me. I was like, oh my god, I see myself. I wish I could go to the one in New York, but seeing like the little one that we have in LA, I'm like very humbled and happy.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the All-Star season. Y'all know I'm getting casted.
For the All-Star, you gotta
They
wait.
could really make it live, and then do like legit balls. That'd be cool.
That would be dope.
I kind of a live aspect would be cute where people can like vote and
jump into the scene because like anybody in a ball, like anybody can come and perform. So if somebody wants to walk face, like a face category, they can walk the face category.
I mean, for TV that'd be a lot.
Yeah, a lot of paperwork because you still gotta.
Mm-hmm. They're not gonna do that.
I mean,
because even the whole time while we was there, because even by the whole time we was there, they were really like structuring the whole process while we was there. So we were basically like season 1. We were basically like guinea pigs.
We was the fucking guinea pigs.
Like they were structuring like as it went on, like as it
no
went
shade.
on. So, like,
because I feel like it at least should be an hour. Like they shouldn't just do 2 categories. They should do more than 2.
But then they can show y'all all of the other editing. Like we did reality shoots in between balls. We were shooting reality shoots. So to fit it all in,
you also
like
got
I like
like
the way
each
they structured
category.
it.
You got to get this effect made, and they don't want like regular ballroom effects. They want like ballroom times like 10. So like, and so to get these done, and then in the time frame we literally had every ball was 4 days, 2 days to basically put the stuff together. The third day was the dry block, with basically the dry block tech. The fourth day, you did the live show. So every 4 days, that's what you have to go through. So you didn't so they had to make effects for 40-some people starting from day 1, and it didn't get easy until then. So it was a lot.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're
All-Stars calling. Y'all been summoned.
No. So we are coming to an end. So of course, we just want to remind you that if you are in the DFW area and in need of prep or testing, go ahead and call that number below. And we can get that for you, get you taken care of. So Tori, with all this new fame and celebrity, all of that, The shade. What do you do, for self-care? Like, how do you take care of yourself? How do you keep yourself grounded? How do you, mental health is very important.
Especially with what's going on now. Today, I actually went to the beach for the first time in like months, and I sat on the beach and I just like watched the waves, meditated, just like did my thing, and just like sat on the beach for hours, what I'm saying, with like probably like two friends, and we just sat there, we just like enjoyed the waves, enjoyed the atmosphere, like everybody was chill. It just was that's the kind of things I like to do. Just like I just chill out, I vibe out, and do things like that, go hiking and stuff like that. That's how I keep myself stand out.
Okay.
Ooh, a hike is not for me.
Why not? You gotta do those hikes. They actually fun.
Mm-hmm. That altitude. So deep.
Ooh, you went black.
I know. My ring got cut off.
You went black. My bill not paid. I'm just playing.
My light bill is paid, honey.
I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing. Let me not.
Okay.
So we are coming to an end. Does anybody have any last final thoughts on the episode, on what's coming next? Anything you want to share with the people?
Hashtag Ebony was robbed. Hashtag Balmain was robbed last week.
No shade. Everybody make sure y'all hashtag Justice for Ebony season 2 so we can come back and redeem ourselves. Justice for Ebony.
I like to say is tune in every week. We only got a couple more weeks left.
Girl, we only got 2 weeks left. That's it. You like a couple of weeks. And 2 weeks is
a couple of weeks
wrapped
is
up.
2 or more.
We done. Wrap this shit up so we can go to the reunion.
Is there going to be a reunion?
I don't know. We don't know.
We're going to host it. If not, we're going to do it right here.
But definitely make sure y'all continue to support the show. We're getting great reviews, great ratings. We've already been nominated. We've been entered into the Emmy race. So
come on for the competition show. Y'all gotta,
just keep.
Y'all gotta be RuPaul though. That's the thing.
Don't watch it on 123movies.com. Go in there, actually
right.
subscribe.
Go on the actual app, subscribe.
Oh yeah, we have it.
He know the link. He know the link.
Oh, the sad part is I use 3 movies. Don't check my browser history. But all right,
because honestly, because we got a lot of fans from out of the country who HBO Max is not even in their area, so that's how they watching it. You know what I'm saying? So I just know. So them, I'm not talking. I'm talking about people that's in the U.S. You in the United States of America, subscribe. Go ahead and pay $14.99.
Yes, 15.
That's it. That's all. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. I want to thank y'all for joining us. It was great as always.
As always.
As always.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Thank y'all so much.
Okay.
Bye.